There's nothing more exciting than seeing these salmon climbing Sacramento River fish ladders. Sadly, however, of the fish hatched and released, less than 1% return to spawn. Predation and water diversion are the main causes for this dismal return rate. Here's a ravenous pack of stripers devastating a defenseless school of smolts. But the biggest salmon gobbler is the Georgiana Slough. To your left is west and the Sacramento River downstream. Although, as you can see, the water is moving the opposite direction. At the top of the screen is upriver, and to the right is the Georgiana Slough, which is sucking the river backwards, pulling it upstream, defying gravity. This Sacramento River tributary supplies Southern California with most of its water. It leads to the California aqueduct that feeds the Harvey O. Banks water pumps that grind up unspeakable millions of fish every year. So back over behind me is where the, back over here, this is where the main water pumps are. I tried to get in and they wouldn't let me in. They said I had to get special permission from Sacramento. This is a little further down than the bridge and sign that says aqueduct, and this is where the main pumps are. From the map they look like they're big. I'll try to get some photos of that. Here are Google Earth photos of the Harvey O. Banks pumping plant, fed basically by the Sacramento River via the Georgiana Slough. This is just one of the 11 massive pumps that push water 240 feet up this hill through 15-foot discharge pipes. Here you can see the fresh flow of pumped water coming out of the gates and into the Southern California aqueduct. The force of this cascade amazes me. I haven't a clue how many millions of tons of water flows out of 11 15-foot pumps. The swift current is about 30 feet deep, so you don't want to fall in and wind up sleeping with a chewed-up salmon. And now, let's take a look at possible solutions to this water war. These are king salmon smolts at the Mokelumne River Hatchery being loaded onto trucks. They're being sucked backwards, and it looks distressing, but it's not. They're moved through the tube by a pump that brings them up into the hopper and then drops them gently into the tanker trucks. These trucks here represent groups 1 and 2, and they're going down to where the Merva W is tied, and they'll dump one group into the Merva W and another group into a net pin for release. A third group will get trucked all the way and will be released under the bridge with Group 1. Each truck carries 100,000 smolts, and this load is drained from the truck into the hold of the barge boat. Several large pumps are circulating river water, imprinting the fish's brain with the course they need to follow to get themselves back to where they were born. The boat is loaded now and is on its way downstream. The Merva W leaves with Group 1 of 3, and now Group 2 is drained into a net pin run by Carrie Burr and the Fishery Foundation. Carrie Burr and Roxanne and several other volunteers run all of the net pins for the Fish and Game. They are responsible for the safe release of tens of millions of smolt salmon throughout the Delta and the San Francisco Bay. The second group will be released in the deeper water in the center of the river and will swim downstream by themselves. Our theory is that this is the riskiest way for them to get to the ocean. However, we need this control group to prove our hypotheses that barging will save fish and raise returns substantially. Group 3 of this study has been trucked directly from the hatchery almost to the ocean and is loaded onto the Merva W at Tiburon. So to recap, the first group that was loaded onto the River W in Sacramento was barged safely past the suction of the waterways leading to the Central Valley Aqueduct, also avoiding predation by the ravenous striped bass. Meantime, the second group was left to swim downstream by themselves, and this third group has been trucked from hatchery to ocean without the benefit of learning the river's course. Next, we will release groups 1 and 3 on an outgoing tide where they will be whooshed out to sea. The big pumps are evacuating the water out of the hold now, and we are getting ready to hand net the rest of the fish and dump them gently over the side. They're swimming in real ocean water now and appear content, mindless of us gawking at them from above. As year 3 of the barge project comes to a close, it's obvious that it was a complete success and that everybody from all of the factions, the Department of Fish and Wildlife, the commercial fishermen, the Fishery Foundation, just to name a few, forged new friendships and built working bridges that will last certainly for many years to come.
Boy, you're one fucking proud son of a
fish
bitch,
raising son of a bitch.
So what do you think the dead loss was, counting the birds, counting, you know, the miscellaneous? Less than 500
for the whole trip. Less than 500.
500.
And now we pray that large numbers of these fish will return and spawn, and unfortunately, they will then die.
We're going to get many more coming back a couple of years from now as adults, and that means money in a lot of people's pockets. We have a river system that is impaired in some years, not all years. Really wet years, it's actually doing fine. But in dry years like this one, this river system is impaired. If you're a young salmon and you're trying to get down this river this year, unless you've got lucky, we hitched a ride.